Hello, I'm Samantha Nolan-Smith, and this is Lessons in Visibility. In this show, we ask what can be learned from the two faces of visibility. The first involves stepping forward and choosing to be seen and heard. The second opens you up to new ways of seeing and hearing the world around you. Welcome to the show. So let's talk about your nervous system and how important it is to match up your nervous system, the state of your nervous system, with your visibility journey. One of the things that is problematic about a lot of visibility-related advice that we see, particularly online, particularly when we're talking about scaling and 10xing your business and adding another 100,000 followers to your email list, etc., is this advice is presented as though the nervous system were not impacting on how you feel about that messaging or that advice or that teaching, and then how you're likely to implement any of those teachings or not. So what happens is if your nervous system is activated the minute that you think about going live on a video or sharing a photo of yourself online, then it doesn't matter how sound the marketing advice is that you're being provided with, you will never feel comfortable with implementing that. And that will mean that you will often sabotage yourself in some way because it feels wrong. Your nervous system is saying, stop, stop, stop. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. The approach that I prefer myself, it's a slower approach. And so lots of people ignore this to their own peril, is to match my nervous system to my next visibility step. So I lived for many, many years with a dysregulated nervous system, and that was linked to PTSD and also to being highly sensitive. And so whenever I lived in very busy cities with high energy levels, my nervous system was dysregulated the whole time. I now live in a much quieter city. My nervous system is really stable. And I have done loads and loads of work around healing the triggers that were activating my nervous system, which means that as I'm going through my day and I think about a visibility task that I need to get done, it is quickly apparent to me if this is causing me some level of anxiety or stress, or if my mind has suddenly become very, very busy. If there's white noise there, all of these things are signals, oh, there's some nervous system response here. And so in that moment, I stop. I don't try and push through. I don't try and take the action. I stop. I tend to my nervous system. I address the fears. I use tools to clear out the fears. And there are a lot of tools that we teach inside the School of Visibility, and particularly inside Women Speaking Up. And I use those tools, but you might have many tools of your own. Some of them that I use are emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. I use a technique called compassion key. I have a background as a yoga teacher, so I use pranayama, breathing techniques. Sometimes I use asana and I do a physical practice, a physical yoga practice. There are lots of different ways that you can do this to meet your nervous system and bring it into a place of stability. But I'm not just managing my nervous system, I'm meeting the fear that is there. Because it's one thing to notice that your system is out of regulation and then bring it back in. It's another thing to meet and heal the wound that activated the system in the first place. So that's what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in that second step of healing the wound. So I draw forth that part of me that is fearful, that is panicking or distrustful or terrified or whatever it might be. I address that in the moment. Then I bring my nervous system back into regulation. And then I take the next visibility-related step, which means I don't do big leaps. Some people love big leaps. I say go for it if you really love a big leap. I don't do that because I have worked so hard to keep my nervous system regulated and rhythmic and consistent and supportive. And so a big leap doesn't feel right to me. It feels dangerous to me. And I can't really afford for my nervous system to get out of regulation, because for me, what happens is that then spirals into some chronic illness. It ends up with me in bed for days on end. And what I would much prefer to do is to take small, consistent steps. If my nervous system feels fine, I just take it and keep going. Take the next one, take the next one, take the next one. But if at some point I feel like I've activated my nervous system, then I tend to that first. Then I take the action. Then I consider what's next. From that place of equanimity and expansiveness and full potential, with a regulated, rhythmic, supported nervous system holding space for that. Match your nervous system to your visibility steps, and you will find that you are on a path to much more effortless, much more joyful visibility. And that's the lesson for today. Thanks for listening to Lessons in Visibility. If you'd like to connect in other places, come on over to theschoolofvisibility.com. And you can also find us at The School of Visibility on Instagram, Substack, Facebook, and Threads. Lessons in Visibility is produced by the School of Visibility on the land of the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people. I acknowledge the peaceful legacy of custodianship that tens of thousands of years of coexistence with the land has bestowed on us all. And I note the visibility journey that remains unfinished. Voice, treaty, truth.